Should start the music. Oh my God. What up, everybody? What up, world? Welcome to the Fanatic Sports Podcast. Episode 16, right? 16. That's 4 months. That's 4 months of fantastic, unmitigated, semi-unbiased. Relatively unbiased.
Look, we're just gonna call it as it is, man. We're just gonna call it as it is. Honestly, like this. Ain't no biasism here unless it's the Steelers or the Clippers, and we ain't talking about either one of them today.
Not at all. Neither one today. All right. So look, unbiased. And look, our swear jar is less than $100 in 4 months. That's pretty damn good. I would say that we've done a pretty good job over over 4 months to only have $60-ish in swear jar.
Yes.
Also, this just in, I almost just got hacked on our Instagram page. Almost just someone sent a very believable letter from what they said was the metaverse, and they almost got me until I saw that his at name was Henry 67 something. I don't know. So which lets me know one thing is that it means I'm getting old because I'm about to start falling for BS. So but look, so today's a big day. This episode is going to be a huge episode because not only are we about to talk about the college football program, or the college football playoffs and the college football in general, and we got the NBA Cup to talk about. But most importantly, hence why the title is The Cold Truth of Sports, because we do got my boy Freezy here today. Shout out Justin Frazier.
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man, it's another beautiful day. So a little bit about me. I'm based in Baton Rouge. I'm from Arkansas originally. I'm from Little Rock. And so I lived in Northwest Arkansas for 15 years, and that's where the angry Puerto Rican Anthony Roman is currently. And so but now I'm down here in Baton Rouge in the middle of GEAUX Go Tiger Country. And but man, like, so it's down here, it's all Saints, it's all LSU, but like it's cool because like this is another really great sports city. And so like it's fun to be, and actually, so I don't know if you've had a chance, because I seen you done some traveling with sports already. But man, like to be on the away team when you're traveling to a place that I actually, as a very petty fan, I do revel in the fact that, like, you're in the stadium, so your team does something great, and so the rest of the stadium, 70,000 people go, oh, and then you go, yay, and it's you, 15 other people, and we just having the time of our life. But that's the fun we're having, man. But man, we're happy to have you here. I know it's going to be a great episode, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting an hour or two, or however much time you can spare for us, man.
Fan on here, man. That's crazy.
Y'all got me today, man. Y'all got me. We can go 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't care.
I like it. I like it. So look, before we get started, so the show is called the Fanatic Sports Podcast, because like before I'm anything, I'm a fan. Like this is how I got into sports broadcasting and sports journalism, was just my fandom and love to talk about sports. So of course, as a fan, it's short for fanatic. And so one of the things that I'm fond of is hearing a fan story. So give me you can pick whatever team you want, your choice. Give me a fan. Give me how you became a story or a fan of that team.
I feel like it would be a bit wrong for me not to start with how I became a Broncos fan.
Okay.
So, growing up, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. That's currently where I'm at right now. And so, sorry for the noise. But, I'm just a football fan. I'm just literally loving the game of football. And so being in St. Louis, it was around the greatest show on turf time.
Oh,
that's what got me into football. Kurt Warner, like I had to be Kurt Warner everything. I used to jersey everything. So I started off as a little boy as a Rams fan, like from baby to like 5 or 6. But then they started to suck. And this sounds like a bandwagon story with Mark Bolger. But I promise you, I was just a little kid, man. I was not trying to bandwagon. So my dad had always been a huge Broncos fan, and just connected with him. And I'm like, well, shoot, of course, everybody kind of, you want to be like that big brother, you want to be like dad, or you want to be like big cuz. So I'm like, that maybe I could be a Broncos fan. And then next thing you know, I said, Dad, I want to be a Broncos fan. He said, if you do this, you can't change up. And here we are.
Good job, Dad.
20 years later, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of happiness, but we here now.
Man, live. So I enjoyed the idea, and that was actually something I wanted to ask you about, being from the Lou, man. Like those days. And so I was actually because I didn't become a Steelers fan until 2004. So up until that point, like I was just kind of freelancing, and one of the things that I loved to follow was their greatest show on turf. Now that the Rams are out in LA, tell me your thoughts on that team, what you see from them, what you think about them being in LA. Do you hate them, or where you at with that?
The whole city hates them. I don't hate them. It hurt. It hurt because now we don't have nothing. I mean, we got the St. Louis Cardinals, who I love, or the Blues. Yeah. Like those aren't, you know what I'm saying? Like those aren't the sports that's not what got me.
Yeah, it's not.
So I love when they won the Super Bowl. It was kind of like bittersweet. Like I was so happy with them. But they even have our St. Louis banger hanging up at SoFi. Now that makes me mad because that's not.
Oh,
that is not.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't know that. All right, I didn't know that. That is wow. I wouldn't like that. You need to leave that in St. Louis.
They even had the 99 team pull up at halftime a couple weeks ago. I said, no, that's not your team.
So I did. So funny enough, right? Obviously, following the Rams, it was hard not to like that whole story with Warner and even Bulger after that, and Trent Green, and everyone that kind of went through that story, and the coaching staff, was fantastic. But one of the interesting things is, like, around that same time, I also was like following hockey. So like I don't understand football as in like soccer, European football, but I love all sports. Right. I love the business of it. I love building teams, the camaraderie, all of that is huge for me. And so I followed hockey, and I'm being from Arkansas. Everybody was a Dallas fan, a Dallas Stars fan. That was the closest hockey team to us, and I don't know why, but after the 90s, I couldn't get into anything Dallas. And so I followed the Blues for a bit. I love Brett Hull was there. And so I want to say they won a ring. They won the cup at some point during that period as well, the late 90s. But they were
not just probably
it was like 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that was our first one.
Yeah. So I mean that's like that the hockey is it's a great hockey town. St. Louis is. Now I got to tell you, I'm a Royals fan.
Okay.
So but I'm not from KC, right? Like, but like I lived in Northwest Arkansas, and so I was pretty close to KC, and I went to a few games, but again, whole state of Arkansas is Cardinals, and so, and this wasn't necessarily like me bucking the trend. It was just kind of like, actually, so my fandom story is with the Royals is that in Northwest Arkansas, when the minor league team came so this was the AA team came from Wichita, Kansas down to Northwest Arkansas. Like I started meeting a bunch of like players on the team, and you make friends with them. I worked at a bar. I did security for a while. And so the bar I worked at, we would let the players park in our parking lot. We'd introduce them to girls, things like that. And so they would give us tickets to the games. And so you just make friends. And then my friends went from AA to AAA, and then Sal got the call, and then the whole squad ended up going from winning the Texas League Championship in 2010 to 2010 to winning the World Series in 2015. Like that whole squad, except for like 2 or 3 people, all came to Northwest Arkansas. And so like I became a fan of the team, rooting for my friends is what that was. But so I haven't made a lot of friends in Arkansas with my baseball team either. But I mean, I guess I don't have any issue with the Cardinals. Just it's not.
I got it.
Okay, so the angry Puerto Rican is from
I totally got issues with Cardinals, man. I totally got issues with Cardinals. I'm a Met fan, so I don't want to hear about the St. Louis Cardinals at all. I don't want to hear about I'm with Pujols. I'm the robot. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I'm good,
Hey man.
I forgot who it was. I think it was Adam Wainwright. He threw a curveball. I forgot. I don't know if it was him, but it was a curveball to Carlos Beltran. And
that boy's out of there.
Carlos didn't even swing. He just looked at the ball and then looked at the ump like that. Tell me that was the ball. Everybody in the world witnessed that strike. You should have swung. Like, don't be sitting there holding your bat and then you looking over at the ump like that's a must call. No, Carlos. No, that's why you didn't make it as a manager for the Mets, because you didn't swing.
I was like 7 years old, way past my bedtime watching that game. Because that's the game I forgot who did it. They made an incredible catch in left field. Threw it all the way back to first base for the double play.
Wow.
And I'm thinking we finna lose. I'm like, well. And then Yadier Molina, who especially at that time was not a great hitter. Yeah. He hits a home run. I said, wow, not Yadier. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the game. So we going that's another thing we're gonna revert not to talk about. We ain't gonna talk about those St. Louis Cardinals over here. We talk about the Denver Broncos, man. We talk about them all day long, man. I'm a Washington fan, but I just gotta say, man, Bo Nix looking like a guy, man. Looking like the guy in Denver right now.
I'm one of the few Broncos fans that's skeptical. Just because
I was skeptical at first, because I just was like, his first 3 games, but I always say this: you put him in a system,
right?
You put him in a system that fits him, and you mold him instead of trying to go outside his comfort zone. You try to figure out what his comfort level is, and then you start winning games, and it shows.
Surprise!
Right?
I wish they would do that with Bryce Young. I wish they would do that with Caleb. But they didn't do that. They didn't put him in the right. They don't put these guys in the right position, and all of a sudden it's the coach's fault. Well, yeah, it's the coach's fault, but it's like you can't just honestly keep trying to change coaches and think that's going to be the answer to everything. It's not the solution.
Looking at you, Giants.
Yeah, man. Look, I don't even want to talk about the Giants, man, because I don't feel bad for Daniel Jones, man. He basically. He basically robbing the Giants.
Yeah.
Well,
that's their fault though. They paid that man. That's their fault.
Man,
I don't know who in the right mind thought he was worth that money. I want to know, hey, look, man, can I go just play for you? I'll be on your practice squad. Can you just sign me to that much?
If we just throwing money away.
And then you let Saquon go. We see how that's going. in the division too.
Yeah.
And
this is my thing. I don't believe in trading within the division. I'm not a big fan of that. I think they should boycott that.
Yeah.
That you should not trade, somebody like Saquon to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't even think we should have traded Johan Dotson to the Eagles, even though he ain't doing nothing, and it's proven why. That's why I'm glad we got rid of all of Ron Rivera's, first round and second round picks. I'm glad we got rid of them.
Wait, was he a second round pick? Was he that high, Dotson?
I thought he was one of your first round pick because I remember
he was a first round pick.
He was a first round
17th pick, first round 17th pick.
Yeah.
Oh God,
that surprised everybody. I remember that.
Yeah, well, because they wanted him for his speed and they thought he could complement Terry, but that just didn't happen.
But that first year, he was crazy. That first year, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I think it's the same concept. You gotta. Football is a game of. It's almost a science at times, and you got to put together. You got to put together. The right players and the right scheme. That's going to. And then it's got to all add up, right? And the coaches have to believe in you. The quarterback's got to believe in you, and and especially in Washington, there's been so much turnover at that Q1 spot. So it makes sense, right? Like you don't even know who you're getting from week to week sometimes, right? Like even inside of the week, you think that it's gonna be Carson and he gets hurt, and I mean there was so much turnover and turmoil there that it's. I mean, it's almost you almost can't blame him, but it is kind of shocking that he's not doing anything in Philly. But I guess,
because they're not using him, man. Like, you got to understand, it's like if you don't use, I don't understand. Like we finessed the Eagles. We finessed the Eagles. Oh, we got some picks. I don't care. That's just smart. And people are like, oh, but you didn't get anything. And I'm like, yeah, we did. We got picks. Like we could use those picks and draft stock and pile up, man. Like that's smart. Like
now that you got your quarterback, you got to get weapons for him.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I am questioning is who is the next weapon? Because for Washington, you've got Scary Terry, you've got who is it, Ertz, even though he got hurt again.
Man. Don't worry, man. Ben Sinat, the truth, gonna be coming soon. Don't worry, man. You're gonna be hearing that name for years to come, man. I guarantee in about 3-4 years, he's gonna be a top 5 tight end. Mark my words when I say this.
You wouldn't look at the kid from Penn State as the tight end, as the draft the tight end in the first round for y'all?
No, we don't need another tight end. We got 3 already. Okay. We got 3 or 4.
That's fair.
Honestly, this year having one receiver has helped Jaden. To be honest, just one that you can build that rapport with.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You look at like a Caleb situation where that's like 3 alpha dogs. You got Rome and Keenan and DJ. And we see how that's not to say that's all their fault. Of course, we know Shane Waldron committed coaching malpractice.
Look. Yeah, that's an understatement there.
I love that. Coaching malpractice is a very fair way to say that. That's a very nice
all 3 of them trying to get the ball. I'm sure that's a lot for a rookie trying to keep them all happy. But with Jay, you just got Terry. And then, of course, you want to hit Noah Brown every now and then. Cool, but Noah Brown ain't expecting to get 10 targets a game.
Look, he's just happy. Like, he caught that one pass, and he's been good since then.
Look, I do like that we have, I like De'Ami Brown. I think he's a complimentary player. And that's the thing. If you put complimentary players around your stars, I mean, you see it dictates to wins.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's one of the things that I kind of like about the Washington and what they doing now. Granted, they succeeded every expectation I had all this year because I kept saying they probably gonna figure out a way to not make the playoffs and make the wild card, or not even make the wild card. I've been saying this and preaching. We we lost at the one. We came close to losing at the 1 yard line last night. So I look. That's all I'm saying.
God. Yeah.
And I don't feel sorry for you New Orleans Saints fans either.
Oh, they're tanking. They're fine. They're happy. They wanted to lose. They want to lose. They're happy. Trust me.
But I think they got something in Spencer. Respect. I think they got something. I don't lie.
With Rattler?
You like Rattler?
Is he?
I do.
I feel like he could be. Well, again, it's the same thing, right? So you got a new head coach that's gonna come in. This interim guy's not gonna work for him.
Right.
And then, which I feel like the new head coach would probably want his own quarterback. But I mean, you could work with Spencer, especially with the type of talent you got, right? You got Olave, you got Juwan Johnson, you got AK. They've got offensively, they've got some weapons. That defense is getting older. But you could take those first round talents and rebuild your defense and bring in another weapon and use Rattler as the guy. Give him 2 years and see what he does in a year's time, 2 years time. That would be a smart move, right? Like you wouldn't feel bad about something like that. If as far as making as far as like rebuilding your team, right? Because in this NFC South division. Like, I know Atlanta should be good soon, but they've fallen off a cliff, which is crazy.
Yo, I have a question.
Yeah.
How many years has Alvin Kamara been in the league? I think, 8?
Yeah, I think about 8, 7 or 8.
Feels like 8, yeah. It feels like he's been around.
Why is this year the first year he's reached over 1,000-yard rushing?
Are you serious? Well, I know he was splitting carries with Ingram for a long time. Remember that, right?
Ingram left. He got hurt a few years though. Not like just little nagging injuries that kept him out a few games.
Well, I'm just saying, like 1,000-yard, you would think that he had that in his first 2 or 3 years. I'm like, yo, he never had 1,000 yards receiving.
So wait,
rushing.
This is seriously his first year rushing for 1,000 yards?
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like he's done this before.
Never.
See this stat.
I think the closest he got was like 930 or something like that. I'm about to look.
Man. Are you serious?
When I seen that post, I looked. I said, "Let me go look this up, man," because I'm always about fact checking things, man. You can't trust the internet no more,
right?
So I'm all about fact checking, man. And I literally was looking. I was like, "Man, this post is correct."
I am looking at. Currently looking at his stats on ESPN.com. And oh my God.
Never.
Like, dude, we've had such good things to say about this guy this is his 8th season. Like, I've never even thought to think about that. Like, I just automatically assumed that he would have hit, a grand every time. Like, this is, dude, I am flabbergasted right now. And I always got something to say. This is crazy to me.
Yo, when I looked at it, I was like, man, ain't no way, man. He's such a dynamic running back. I'm like, there's just no way.
Yeah, no. Nope. Well, look, 728 is rookie year, 883, 797, 932, 900, 700 last year. He's at 950 this year. If he stays healthy.
Yep.
But and I think the reason why we find him so dynamic is because, like, his rookie year, he also had 800 receiving yards to go along with that. That's why. And so, like, from a fantasy standpoint, and that's what I think about a lot of things football wise. Outside of the Steelers, I think about everything football wise as fantasy dynamic. And so, to think about a receiver getting 81 catches for the first 4 seasons, that's a lot of points on the board, bro. And then you're talking about that's big games from a fantasy standpoint. But like he's at 950. This is a career high for him, and maybe one of the worst seasons they've ever had. Like,
and he just got hurt yesterday, sadly.
Golly, this is crazy.
Look,
that man. Is a great. I am at a loss for words right now.
I wish the Saints had traded him about 2 years ago. They're like 5 years past the rebuild.
Because they were hanging on to that defense for so long, and not to blame them. It was a vaunted defense. It was a great defense. I just don't I just don't see how, it's one of those things. You gotta know where you are in the layout of the land. And I think the other thing is that they really were like and that's what the point I was about to make. In this division, 8-9 games will take you will be the number one, the number one in the division. So you're in the playoffs. And so, I think depending on what you're wanting to do, and there's obviously injuries and things like that as well. And they would get healthy and at the right time to go into the playoffs. That was almost sort of a should we rebuild? And they hung on to Drew for too long, and just a myriad of issues that maybe if you fix one or two of those, you got a chance in the playoffs. At least, I don't know if you remember when they went 8-8. And won, or they might have went 7-9, honestly, and won the division. And that was the year. That was the year the Beastquake run, right? You remember that when Marshawn broke every tackle, including the defensive coordinator, and so he broke 14 tackles. It was only 11 players on the field, but that was the. And that's the kind of hope that these people have down here. I think it's something in their etouffee that makes them feel this way. I still haven't figured it out yet, but they that's the way they hang on to it. And this division is so finicky. Like the best team in NFC South is right now, number one in the South is Baker and the Bucks. And do we feel like the Bucks are a real contender? Do we feel like they're a real, you know what I mean? Like,
look, if the Bucks can figure out who's gonna run the ball, would make things a little bit easier. Because I don't know who getting the ball, man. It messed me up in fantasy because I had Rashad White and Bucky Irvin looking like the running back that that's gonna be starting next year as well. I'm sitting here just like, man, I don't know, man. It's a two-headed monster.
Oh man, it messes up my betting. It messes up my fantasy. I don't like it. I just stay away from the Bucks now. I thought that I honestly thought that the Falcons would win the division. And they started off after, our defense crushed them. Like they started off in a place where, they were going to be a really good team. And then they just fell off a cliff. I don't know. And they got a lot of great pieces over there. And I like their coach. Is that Raheem over there? Or is that, Raheem over there. And so I'm thinking that they should be, I'm really rooting for them in the South, and they just fall apart. I'm not following, I guess, close enough to know all the way, but it's just like, man, that should be better. They should be better than what we've seen in the last few weeks.
6-3 and have, mind you, when they were 6-3, they had like a 3-game lead over the Bucks. They swept the Bucks this year, so you had the tiebreaker. They had a span of Saints, Broncos, the Vikings are in that stretch, and another team I'm forgetting. And the Broncos game, fine. Like the Broncos are a good team this year. But to lose to the Saints, they lost. I cannot believe the team's escaping me, but it was a lesser team that they lost to again. And then they got dismantled by the Vikings last week. Well, and now you this lead. And granted, it's the Vikings. I'm aware it's a dominant team, but like the Falcons, like to your point, have pieces to be good, at least offensively. Defensively. Yeah.
Well, defensively, they got good safeties because they went and signed Justin Simmons to go with Bates, and then they've got guys up front who can make plays. Man, this team should be better than they are. And I'm looking at their last 4 games. So they got smoked by the Vikings. They lost a good game to the Chargers. They got blasted by the Broncos.
That's weird.
It went Vikings, Chargers, Broncos, and then it started with the Saints in a last second win loss to the Saints. And they've been and before that, you're right, 6-3, 7-3, 2, 5, 6, 7-3. Like they beat the Eagles. They beat the Eagles by 1. Like this should be.
Which a lot of teams have, but they were one of the first take the Chiefs.
to the last minute, last second. Yeah.
Not every you got to look at it though. You know, not every team has the refs' help. So
that's a good way to put it.
I'm gonna just leave that there, man. Not every team has the refs on the sideline, you know, to help them, you know, so they can, you know, keep these Swifties coming and things like that. The game, because that's all I see is, oh man, she brings great things to the game. I just feel like she brings distractions. I mean, I feel like Travis Kelce is not playing like Travis Kelce this year. He's too enveloped with making commercials.
I wish you had told me that during my fantasy draft, because he has cost me badly.
Hey, like, I don't know, man. Like, you know, it's crazy to think, but if you really look at all those games, you know, we talking about like a lot of these games that have, you know, been, you know, come down to, you know, inches and, you know, like, think about it. If they call a few of these plays down in the stretch of the game, the Chiefs are not a one loss team this year.
Dude, they're like probably a 7-loss
team. And the one team that they lost to is a way better team when the guy has no weapons on that team. Everybody gets the ball.
I've been interested in this thing with the Bills. And
I like them. They proved last night. They proved last night, you know, yesterday, that they could beat the Lions. And the Lions, that team, man, come on, man. Goff put up 5 touchdowns, 494.
Yeah, can I just say, though, when it comes to the Chiefs, as a Broncos fan, of course, like as a football fan, like we all are, I do get the refs thing, but you gotta come in prepared, like to beat them. Like, got your eyes crossed, like nothing can be.
You just gotta know they're going to,
because they're so well coached. Like those clutch moments, and they've been there so many times in this Mahomes era, that doesn't faze them. So now some team that may not have been there before, or at least less than KC, now you've done the stupid play or you had the stupid penalty. Now it's cost you the game. Not to say some of these penalties weren't done. I agree. Some of them are crazy. But like the Broncos game, for example, they blocked the kick. Well, why was the left side of the line so, like, they didn't even really attempt to block? Like, that's our fault. That's our fault.
Yeah, that's on you. So I let me jump in here, and I want to go to break, but I gotta say this before we go. So this Bills team, and I was having an argument with my fantasy league last night, but mainly because I was in my feelings about us losing to the Eagles. But the Bills team, this Bills team can score with anybody. They made it evident. They've outscored the 2 best teams in the league, right? Like, I don't know if they played the Eagles. They don't play the Eagles this year. So, but that may be the only other team that could probably score with them. Like, if we're just gonna go numbers for numbers. But one thing I'll tell you is that they ain't got no defense, and I think the Bills are gonna get exposed, like they've been exposed by the Rams, like they've been exposed by the Texans, like they were exposed by the Ravens. That may be the first time I've said the Ravens on air. God bless. All right, I'm
proud. I'm actually proud of you.
I'm getting soft. Wow. This is ridiculous.
Out of 16 weeks, you actually call them by their name.
What do you normally call them?
The rat birds. That's what a raven is. It's a rat bird. It's a bird. It's a rat with wings. That's what it is. Okay. And I like Lamar.
Asking that question.
Lamar Jackson. And this is why I get so frustrated with my fantasy league, right? Because they make me have to defend Lamar Jackson. And I'll never feel comfortable defending anybody that puts on that awful purple jersey at all. Not
next week.
Yeah, we do, and we're gonna beat the hell out of them. That's not the point.
It's bad juju that you said they named the week before the game, man.
It might get bad now. And this is all my fantasy league's fault, because as much as I don't like them, I will defend that Lamar Jackson deserves the MVPs he's gotten, because aside from playing us, that man is Superman. I don't know what sweet magic Mike Tomlin works out that makes him play, but he's He's played probably, I think, we beat them 9 out of the last 10 times. And he's played probably 7 or 8 of those games, and he does not look good against us. He don't. I mean, everybody else, though, that dude is a monster. And here's the other thing. Josh Allen always looks great against us. I don't know what we don't do. What we do to Lamar that we don't do to Josh, that they cook us. I mean, he looked like a superstar against us in the playoffs last year. But the Bills don't have a defense. They don't have a defense, and I think they could be like the 21 Bengals with how the Bengals were just so dominant offensively and played their way to a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I honestly feel like if we don't beat the Bengals, or I'm sorry, not the Bengals, the Bills, then I think that the Chiefs would learn from what they did last game, their play last game, and I think they would beat them in the playoffs, especially if it's going to KC, which I don't know if it will, because I think the Texans are going to beat the Chiefs next week. But if it's going to KC, I think I think that the Chiefs are going to win that game in the conference, and it's conference championship, and it's Patty Mahomes in the conference championship, man. Like he's just that good, and it's hard to beat him like that, man. He could be, Tom Brady in that respect.
I think when you look at it like until it gets done, I can't. I thought last year the Bills would beat the Chiefs. It was in Buffalo. They didn't do it. So the question is, when is it going to happen? Until I see it happen, I'm just going to
happen this year.
Look, I hope so.
The angry Puerto Rican has beef with the Chiefs. I think he got more beef with the Chiefs than I do.
Look, man.
Man. If I want to put myself in position to be angry all the time, this is why. I don't like cheaters. I get tired of seeing every 5 minutes on NFL. When you watching a football game, there's a Travis Kelce commercial, there's a Patrick Mahomes commercial, there's an Andy Reid commercial, there's a Jason Kelce commercial. Hell, Mama Kelce got Woman of the Year, something. I'm just like, yo, she don't even play sports. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, I'm just tired. As the great Charles Barkley would say, it's terrible.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. That's crazy. I didn't even look at it like that.
Like if you look, man, you telling me when you watch a game, you probably don't even pay attention to the commercials, do you?
It's ingrained in us.
I do. I got no choice sometimes, man, because there ain't nothing else, man. Like if I go to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch a game or something like that, I can at least turn. Right. But when you're watching at home and you're watching the game and you don't feel like putting your laptop on to watch the game, you're just watching whatever they give you. All right. Look, it's literally probably, for the 3 hours the game's on, I think I'm probably watching 2 hours of the Kelce family. I probably know more about the Kelce family than the majority of the Kelce's know the Kelce family.
Hey, now Jason Kelce's wife has a podcast.
Yes.
And we need to stop with all these athlete podcasts, all these athlete-wide podcasts.
Man, the only thing that frustrates me the most about it is they don't show Sierra as much as they show Taylor Swift. And if I'm picking between who I want to look at, I'm gonna go with Sierra.
Okay, my brother in Christ, you and me both.
Look, you know what's funny? I want y'all to understand something. This is why I also don't like the Chiefs.
Okay.
It's kind of the reason why I don't like the Jets this year.
Okay.
How many primetime games they been on?
Yeah, a few.
The Jets with a losing record had a primetime had primetime record, had primetime on Thursday. They played how many Thursday games? And I'm just like, why? You couldn't have figured out another team?
Who asked to see this?
Look, like the Giants and the Cowboys game. Remember I was telling you for Thanksgiving they should have had the Giants and the Cowboys on Friday and the Chiefs game on Thursday. They really should have did that because that was a dumpster. That literally was dumpster fire from both those teams.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was
You know,
disgusting.
so look, before we go to commercial break, this is why I'm always angry, man. Look, I don't like stupidity when it comes to teams. I don't understand it. I'm tired of the Chiefs. You know what? We're going to go to baseball, too. I'm about tired of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Dealing with my co-host over here. I'm about tired of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm about tired of hearing about the LA Clippers and Kawhi, the Kawhi-less basketball team. Yes, you getting it all. You getting it all. I'm getting tired of the Lakers and Bronny James and, LeBron James. Oh, my God. He took a break. Like, why is that a headline? Like, stop, man. The man is almost 40 years old. If the man deserves it, if he wants a break, you have a break. Look, man.
I guess
Look, get him in a break. But I do like what Stephen A. Smith said. I was listening. I don't really like what Stephen A. Smith be saying most of the time, but today he said something really accurate. Why you gotta hide behind the scenes and just say it's a personal issue? Just say the man needed a break.
He's old and tired. we got ice his knees down. So look,
Justin, this is me, man. I get very adamant when it comes to sports, man. I get very adamant.
I love it.
So look, this is the perfect segue because he's always this spicy, and not only this you like that, but he also not only is he spicy in sports. But he's got the best salsa we've ever had. Tell us more about it, Ant.
Oh man, you know I do have the best salsa in the world. You know, and I'm not gonna say that. I know
I'll say it. Best salsa in the world.
So, look, Justin, just give you a heads up. Look, man, when you want to get your taste buds ignited, man, all you gotta do is come to Angry Salsa. This isn't your ordinary salsa. It's packed with fiery flavor that keep you on the edge of your seat, whether you're cheering for your team or just snacking while watching the game. Or if you really just want to not really like the Chiefs and you really want some angriness to you, that's the way to go. You know, whether you cheering for your team or snacking while watching the game, Angry Salsa will add a spicy kick to your game day experience. So grab a jar of Angry Salsa today and take your taste buds on an exhilarating ride. Angry Salsa, fueling the fire of flavor. Become a happy, angry customer today by contacting me, your very own angry Puerto Rican, Anthony Roman, today.
So, man, look, we got Freezy Sports on Justin Frazier with us today, man. I can't say thank you enough for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, the topic I've been thinking the most about all week long, college football and the Heisman. But we'll be right back here on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the Fanatic Sports Podcast, episode 16, and we've already started the shenanigans. But it's been a blast, man. Freezy Sports own Justin Frazier here with us. Man, can't say thank you enough for joining us, man. I follow a lot of stuff you do on Instagram. While I got a chance, man, this is a great time for shameless plugs, man. Tell us more about your Instagram. Tell us about any other places where people can find you.
I see y'all got the game locked down. I should have put it in a little white space. I've fumbled back. Instagram, Freezy Sports. For some reason, people can't spell Freezy. They'll spell Freezy. So FREEZY Sports. Twitter, Sports Freezy, because somebody took my handle. Wow. And then TikTok, Freezy Sports as well.
Man, look, I checking the dog out, man, and super excited to see what you're doing, and with the way that that sports journalism broadcasting is changing, man. Like talk about your background, how you.
My bad, it cut out a little bit, but I got the.
He's saying, basically saying, just talk about your background, how you got into, sports broadcasting and things like that.
For sure, I've always wanted to do it. Since I was a kid. This is the type of business, and I'm sure y'all know you gotta love it to do it because you're not gonna get paid. It's a lot of paying your dues, still paying my dues. And there's a lot of risk taking, like a ton of it, just hoping to meet the right people and hopefully they believe in you and feel the need to push you and introduce you to different people. That's right. I fell in love with it watching Chris Berman growing up. He was my favorite. Stuart Scott, of course. And as time went on, Stephen A. But I love Stephen A. from the African-American aspect of I wasn't used to seeing someone of, which I'm light skinned, but I wasn't used to seeing people at the top like that besides Stewart. And then, of course, I found out you can make millions of dollars doing this stuff. So I was like, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But I sports, kind of like y'all said, like the Angry Puerto Rican, I get so passionate about this. And I'm a chill guy. Like I really just be chilling. But when it comes to sports, that's kind of when you get the personality to come out. That's when you get me a little angry.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And so I graduated from Full Sail University in 2022. And since then, just kind of like I said, been trying to take risk. I've had the blessed opportunity to go to the NFL Combine the last few years, an NFL draft, a Super Bowl, and it's been really, really dope. And at the same time, I know I have a long way to go because I haven't touched that. I haven't got the real paper yet. That's what I need so I can fully lock in.
Right.
But it's been real cool to chase this dream. And even people because I'm 25, I'm thinking like I'm asking people for advice, but sometimes people ask me for advice. I'm like, well, shoot, I'm still.
hey, I'm glad to know. Look, all right, so we got the young crowd with us then, Ant, because look, so Ant, I turned 40 in March, and Ant is I think 58, but so we got a baby with us, Ant. We got the Gen Z crowd with us today, baby.
I mean, but he don't carry himself like a Gen Z though.
Nah, he's very adult.
He carry himself like you were born in the 80s, man. So we'll take you this time, man. We'll take you this time.
I appreciate y'all.
And get on here and say you a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you an Alabama Roll Tide fan. I'm just glad you ain't saying none of that, man. I'm just really glad you saying all the right things for this podcast. I don't care. We might get someone on here that might be an Alabama fan, and I might just give them hell just for the hell of it.
Because the way you hate the Chiefs is how I hate Alabama. I will make a quick summary of another fandom. And they don't say I'm a bandwagon. I'm a Georgia fan. I've been a Georgia fan forever because I was an AJ Green fan, and my family, my rest of the family, stays in Atlanta.
All right,
been down there, and
Okay.
I'm a kid. AJ Green is in college, I'm a kid. I'm like, well, shoot, he's tough. That's all it was. I was like, now I'm a Georgia fan. And they beat us every time, obviously. And every time I just get madder and madder. I hate them. I could write a think piece on why I hate Alabama.
You know what's crazy?
It'd be a Pulitzer.
Me and Blocker before the show started, we were talking about UNC and Bill Belichick going to UNC, and we talking about that. Give your thoughts on that, man. Give your thoughts on Bill, him coming from the NFL world to the collegiate, now having to deal with all this NIL. It's kind of like something where he should be kind of, acclimated with, money and all of these deals and all of that because he's had to deal with it in the NFL. How do you think that, transpire into his, collegiate coaching career?
At first, I was skeptical on this move too, just because he's 71, 72. And trying to relate to 18, 19, 20-year-old, that threw, I was like, and Bill's never been the fun guy. Like, you're not in college to be yelled at all. You're here to, still play football, but like they're 18. And, with the transfer portal, I was like, well, maybe kids don't want to do that. And, if you want to go get an NFL Connect, you just go to Colorado and still have the fun and, get the NFL.
Yeah.
But
as time around all the stars and everything, but
exactly.
You know why I bring that up? Because I was sitting there thinking, wouldn't it be crazy if Nick Saban decides he wants to coach the New Orleans Saints?
I don't think you want that one.
Wouldn't it be crazy? We get the NFL, the basically the cream of the crop.
The NFL GOAT.
And we get the cream of the crop in college goes to the NFL this year. I mean, this upcoming year. Wow, what's going on with the world here? Like you sit back and you think about. And it's like always those what ifs, those fantasies, man. Because I'd like to see Nick Saban coach. I'm not saying I don't just say it's just the way he beat up on teams, man. I for years and years and years, and you get a random. And I tell you, I think this is my sophomore year in college, man. Alabama comes here. Alabama's playing, and this girl, oh my God, man. Now in the student section.
Oh God.
Allowed to have drinks and all of that, but everybody had their drinks.
Right.
And we had this girl, man. I remember her. I remember this to this day. Man. She was in my classes, and she was like, "Hey, you can come sit by us." And my buddy was like, "I really don't know about this, man. I don't want to be around those sororities, man. Like, I just don't feel comfortable." Lo and behold, about 10 shots in, man, this girl. Roll Tide, baby! Roll Tide! And
my God.
Like, you in the wrong section to be doing this, man. Like, you in all country. Talking about some Roll Tide, baby! Roll Tide! And I'm sitting there like, God, please don't put me on the Tron. Please, like, I'm literally putting my head down. I'm like, I don't want to be because randomly them cameras be pointing right at you, man. You don't be knowing. So somebody be like, "Hey, I seen you at the game," blah blah, and I'm just like, "Nah, you don't."
Next to the Roll Tide girl.
I'm literally doing it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I put my head in there, man. I'm just like, "Nah, please don't." You saying that at the wrong time. Granted, we beat, we got beat 17-10. I think it was in the rain. Because that was the year. Look, that was the year we beat LSU for the boot, and I was able to rush the field for that with one arm. By the way, I had a surgery to my arm, so I was in the thing. And let me just tell you, man, trying to jump over that little barricade with one arm, like the security guard looking at me like, I don't even know if you should try that. And I'm like, look, I'm already like probably 7-8 years. Them pre-games earlier, took a bunch of shots, and I'm like, I got it, I can do it. Lo and behold, I'm surprised the camera didn't catch me falling over, but I fell off the barricade. Fell off the barricade. I had my arm, man. I was in a sling. Look, probably the dumbest.
Hey, that's fantastic, bro.
Great story. Everything just pause him out the screen like that is crazy. Mid-story.
Yes. Man, so look, I'll tell you what. Let's see where he's at. Yeah, it looked like his wife. I thought it was mine for a second. Georgia technology, huh?
I thought
so. I went and checked it, but so I tell you what, man. Just talking about college football, which was the perfect segue. One of the things I'm thinking the most about is this tournament, and I'm happy for it because in my mind, I didn't feel like four teams was enough, right? Because and look at our top four this year, right? When you think about these four teams, like I would presume Georgia would win, right? Like if just the four teams that are the top four that they went with, which I feel like probably if it was having to only pick four teams, I feel like they would go away from. So they probably wouldn't have went with Arizona State. They probably wouldn't have went with Boise State, right? It would probably been like Georgia, Oregon, Texas, and Penn State. They love to do chalk like that, right? So having 12 teams gave them space to be more honest that, hey, Arizona and Boise State had really good seasons that need to be respected. And yes, Boise State's in maybe a lesser conference, lesser division, what have you. But they did what they were supposed to do, and we want to see this kid on the big stage. And sometimes that factors into it, and I'm okay with that personally. I'm not. Indiana would have probably not made it. SMU would have probably not made it. I'll start off by telling you I am glad that Alabama's not in this playoff. They don't deserve to be there. The games they lost were, especially that Vandy loss was embarrassing. And I'm not even a Roll Tide fan, but that's embarrassing. I'm fine with them being out. I think they picked the best 12 teams in the country, and I feel like they got it right. I'm sure there's other teams that'll disagree, other people that disagree, but in my mind, I think they got it right with especially having 12 teams.
We're talking about these playoffs and things like that, man. And my fault about earlier, man. I got wound up getting a phone call, man. That happens.
Okay,
man.
okay.
I be trying to put sometimes I be trying to put my phone on do not disturb so people don't call during the times when I'm doing this because it's like I'm using my phone and not my laptop. I would have used my laptop earlier, but I was having technical difficulties on it, and it was just making me lag a lot. So I was like, man, got you on, Justin. I was like, nah, man, we gotta make this look good, man.
Yeah. That's a full sales graduate.
I was like, nah, man, we're not gonna do that, man. We didn't do that today.
But we gotta look good for the full sales graduate.
I'm really shocked, man. Before we get really deep into this college playoffs, because I'm with you, Blocker. I really like this. I really like our, the way this setup, is set up. With the 12 team. But I want to talk about something that before we dive in, because I know we're talking about college football playoffs and things like that and how much it means to these programs. But when we talk about a program to not be able to play in a bowl game because they don't have players to play,
Marshall.
It's sad.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
That is.
And honestly, I was scared Arkansas was going to be in the same boat.
Well, you remember I said earlier I like the fact check. And I was sitting there, man, and I looked at that and I was like, man, are they going to be able to play December 28th? Everybody leaving to follow the coach. And I'm just like, wow, man, how devastating is that? There is no more loyalty to a football team anymore.
That's true.
We talked about this earlier in the year, man. The fact that, so I picked Oklahoma to beat Texas in the Red River rivalry because, it used to be a game where you could throw out the records and there was just pure hatred. Same thing with Georgia and Georgia Tech. Same thing with Georgia and Florida. But these days, there's no hatred amongst each other because players are barely staying around 2-3 years. If that, these days,
But Block, I gotta hit you with something though. I gotta hit you with something. That rivalry weekend this year, there was a fight in every game.
That's true.
Every game.
Oh, that's a good point. And look, I'm here. I told you I'm petty. I love that kind of foolishness.
The Ohio State Michigan game kicks it off after the game.
Yeah,
when you
true.
talk about that Ohio State Michigan game,
True.
I'm not allowed. I was at work. I had just started working at this job, and the executive chef looks at me and goes, "You watch football?" And I said, "Man, I love it, man." I said, "Man, I do a podcast every week, you know." And he's like, "Oh, that's great." He goes, "By any chance, did you see that Ohio State Michigan game?" I said, "Yeah," but then I had to come to work, so it's like I didn't catch the end of it. He said, "Oh man, you don't want to see the highlights." I said, "What you mean?" He said, the highlights at the end of the game were more highlighted than the actual game itself." And I was like, "Wait, what?" He was like, "Yeah, man, they had people in handcuffs and you know, they tasing people." And I'm just like, "Whoa."
Yep.
It was
Like,
bad,
but that
bro.
takes the but see, that's where the fun. That's why I feel like I feel like the fun was there for the game. Like, you know, people want to see that. Like, I'm not saying you want to see violence in a game, but you want to see, you know, just put one in the swear jar. You want to see that shit talking. You want to see that. Hey man, I came in your home and I just whooped your ass, and now I'm gonna plant my flag in the middle of your shit because I can do that because you suck.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you know, like
that breeds
I don't.
that great, like, you going back and forth with each other, and you know, bragging rights. Look me some bragging rights, man. So one of our contributors that's on here pretty frequently, Big Mark. So last year, or maybe it's been a couple years now, when Tennessee beat Alabama, I bet him. We bet like $10 or something like that. I don't do big bets, but I was like, dude, keep your $10. Just get online and tell everybody I was right for once. I'll take that. I'll take that over any dollar amount you can give me, man. I like being right, man. It's rare for me.
I don't believe that, but I believe you're right more than you think. But
yeah.
I mean,
But no, man, it's a blast to have that kind of putrid, you know, that hatred and respect for each other.
It just reminds me, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when Matt Jones did that.
Yeah, when he did the
remind me of Matt Jones doing that. You know, all right, now we gonna show a little age here, so don't mind, Justin. We're gonna show a little age.
I'm with you.
All right, but you know, Matt Jones, they want to beating on Texas, man. He wound up dropping an Arkansas flag right in the middle, like right in the end zone, man. Like that was just dope.
Yeah.
That was like wow. Like you sitting there and you're like, yeah, that's kind of like, you know, when back in the day. Now, where you probably seen the highlights when you know, people were doing like with Terrell Owens. He kept scoring a touchdown, go straight to the middle of the Cowboys.
To the star.
He got
to the
trampled.
star.
Yeah. So it's just like, you look at that, and I'm like, yo, man, that's great. But you look at it, it was fun for football fans to watch that. Like, you get more engaged. Like, what is this guy going to do next week? You know, what's he going to say? You know, when he say, yo, grab your popcorn, he turns around and pulls out a thing of popcorn. You're like, whoa. Like, he pulls out the magic marker to sign the football. And I'm just like, yo, this dude had every antic to piss people off, but it was like he got you more engaged. Like, I don't like this guy. Or if he was on your favorite team, you're like, man, I love this guy. We need that in sport.
One of my favorites, one of everybody's favorites, is Ocho Cinco. And like growing up, I seen him do the Hall of Fame jacket. You know, he was doing I think he was doing the salsa one time when he putted with the pylon. But when
he proposed to that girl.
Some even like in college wise, like one of the bigger ones for me personally was like when Baker Mayfield slammed the Oklahoma flag at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like those get you more engaged because obviously we know sports is hard, and playing it at such a high level, putting all that work in, I feel like you should have the right to celebrate. I beat you.
You know, you're right. You're definitely right about that. And that's the thing that bugs me out is how, like, you know, nowadays you can't, like, the whole, oh, we're doing this, you know, type thing. Now that's a penalty in the NBA. The ticky tack technicals, the fouls, these unsportsmanlike conduct, you know, you're sitting there looking at it and you're like, oh wow, like, it's part of the game, man. Like, these guys play, like, you got to keep it competitive, and you got to have a competitive edge. And I feel like this, you know, will transpire into next year's rivalry week.
That's right.
When we get to it, be like, yo, I remember what you did to our stadium. Wait, come to yours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just builds a little bit more. Like, it's more video footage, you know, to be used as ammunition. And I don't know, man. I loved it. I loved every bit of rivalry week this week. I mean, this year.
Like,
and
I did enjoy rivalry week. I'm glad you brought that up because I was literally fussing, dude. Like, man, this is not what this is not the way it's supposed to be. You know, a lot of teams were throwing out. You know, normally, like I said, you could throw out the records when it came to the Red River rivalry, and maybe just Oklahoma just wasn't very good. I know they had issues with their core. With their wide receivers, and they switched quarterbacks, and offensively they just weren't a very good team. But and maybe that was it. But I'm glad you brought that up. That rivalry, this year's rivalry week was fantastic. I love the chippiness of it.
Going into next year, like you said, like for Ohio State, for example, you have to win next year, especially if you keep Ryan Day on. You have to win. You can't lose Michigan again.
Four straight.
You can't do that. Georgia Tech. That's why the best Georgia Tech game in years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Look, yo. So you know, speaking of that game, it was crazy because I was like, man, you know, watching it third quarter. You know, I think they were down by 17, 19 points or something like that. And I'm just like, all right. I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lay down, man. Ain't nothing. This game's over. I'm sitting there thinking like this game is over. And I forget, you got to think me, you know, when I see it, like when I watch a game, like it kind of reminds me of that Chiefs-Bills game that one year in the AFC championship round.
Oh, yeah.
They went back and forth. And the person I was watching the game with, she's a Chiefs fan. And she was like, oh, this game's over. And I said, man, there's too much time. It's 30 seconds. They got 2 timeouts left. I was like, that's still enough time to go down. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. But then you go back and you look at this Georgia game, and you're like, someone told me to turn it back on. So I messaged my buddy, and he was like, man, yo, right now ain't time. I don't got time to talk to you. He goes, watch the game. And I'm sitting here like, what game? Ain't nothing really on. And he's like, man, watch this Georgia game, man. They're already in their third overtime. And I said, what? So I turn it on, man, and I'm hearing this is the third overtime. And I watched all 5 of those, and I was just like, the rest of them, we're going to get to 8. And I was like, man, this is what football's about.
Yeah.
And I wish the NFL would incorporate a lot of those rules and the way they do overtime. That would make football a lot more fun for the ending of games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because you want it to have that draw and that drama, if you will. And sometimes, you know, and again, I think this is why expanding the 12 teams is exciting, because it allows you the opportunity to see the what ifs, right? You know, the University of Central Florida has a banner that says 2017 national champions. Like they believe that with all their heart. But we only had 4 teams, and I think they got left out. And again, it was like I was telling you, you know, as we came back from break, they having 12 teams, you automatically know, hey, I'm going to get, you know, Texas, and I'm going to get Penn State in. But, you know, Arizona State really did have a better, you know, resume. Boise State did have a great resume, and we do want to see this guy in the thick of things, right? You know, same thing, you know, with Clemson, Tennessee, SMU, Indiana. These teams would have definitely been of a 4-team, you know, playoff. So it's good that we're seeing this in 3 rounds. So, you know, while we got the bracket up here, man, let's talk a little bit about now. What I was trying to figure out while you guys were talking was how this is going to work from a numbering standpoint, right? So let's say Indiana beats Notre Dame. Do they automatically go straight to Georgia? Or is it going to go based off your seeding? So like the lowest seed goes to the highest seed, which is normally the way it goes in bracketing.
That's what it should be, but
right.
It's not that. Yeah, so like the way they have it set up is exactly how it is. Like,
okay,
Notre Dame wins, they go to Georgia. SMU, Penn State, they play Boise. Because if you look at it, Oregon got some bad luck on their side.
Like, let me ask, is Dylan Gabriel playing in that game?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody's gonna play for a national championship.
Well, but see, that's what I love about this show, and this is what I love, the fact that we know a few people. If you ever get a chance, Justin, watch the movie. The reason why I'm asking this, watch the movie NCAA.
Okay.
There's a movie. It's basically about these stars coming into national titles. So one of my buddies I went to school with, who's on one of the number one shows on Netflix right now, and Julian Horton used to be a receiver for the Razorbacks, and he turned actor. He's on Tyler Perry's new show, and when you sit back and he basically plays this guy's buddy who's a star quarterback who says, "I'm not playing." This is before the NIL. He goes, "I'm not playing. You guys slave us pretty much," and things like that. And it goes on to it where, he doesn't play in the national title game, and it's the TV numbers are going down. The producers, NCAA itself, the organization, they're, flipping out, and, they're wondering why guys not playing. And the reason why I asked is like, dude just came up to be a Heisman Trophy finalist, and you sit back and you're like, man, is this guy going to play, or is he going to, jump in the NFL? Is he just gonna, keep himself, from, protect himself? Kind of like, what Dion said about Shador and Travis. No, they're playing in the game. We want to play. We want to see this to the end. I love stuff like that. But then I look at some of these guys that are probably like, nah, man, I'm jumping in the NFL. I need to rest my body. I'm not playing. I'm not taking a chance to get hurt.
And you see that for anybody that's in the playoffs. You might feel like those lower bowls, but when it comes to, I know these guys, they're going at it for the championship for sure.
I know.
This is what they're fighting for is the championship.
Look, as long as Texas, Georgia, and Ohio State don't make the national championship, I am actually really good.
Well, damn.
Oh, my fault. I forgot you a Georgia fan. I'm so sorry, man.
I thought we was here.
Not with Georgia, bro. I still have nightmares of Nick Chubb. I still got nightmares of Nick Chubb, man. I'm sorry. No, I'm good.
Arkansas fan, I assume.
I'm a huge Arkansas fan.
I respect it. It's fine. I get it.
I got nightmares of Nick Chubb, man.
Hey, man. Listen, he's in my division now. I'm not a fan of. I've not liked Nick Chubb for a very long time. and most importantly, let me say, as Mike Tomlin says, Mr. Chubb is a bad man.
I feel bad for him though. I don't know if y'all see that he broke his ankle yesterday.
Yeah, I saw.
Oh no!
You sit back, yeah, man. You sit back and you're like, man, this dude just came back from a horrific knee injury again. I mean, honestly, to me personally, I think Chubb should just go ahead and just put it down, man. You've already accomplished enough. I mean, I know you didn't get a Super Bowl. You didn't get all the accolades you wanted, but man, do not.
To the Browns, you ain't gonna get a Super Bowl with.
I'm just saying, don't be that guy that tries.
It was my mic on when I said that.
Look, I'm with you. Anybody that plays for the Browns, and I feel bad, man. Like, it's just kind of like, Jameis Winston, man. He just keeps throwing interceptions and keeps saying, God's gonna help me. I didn't know God. I didn't know God literally was a Browns fan.
He's not. That's why he keeps throwing interceptions.
His brother said the horse is prepared for battle, but the battle is won with the Lord. And I laughed for about 10 minutes. I couldn't stop.
Yo, you ever notice Jameis Winston never really answers the question?
He never answers.
Yo, they'll ask him a question, and you can tell he gets in the mirror and scripts everything he's saying. Like they'll be like, so how do you take you take on this the Steelers defense? What do you think you should do? Well, God's gonna give me the answer. He's gonna help and provide. What? Like, yo, none of his answers are always his rebuttals are never on to the topic that are at hand, man. It's like, for me being an interviewer, if I'm interviewing you and I'm probably looking at you like, yo, you didn't answer this question. Like, yo, I'm afraid to ask you any more questions. I don't want to. I know. Look, I love God. I believe in God, but man, ain't that much God in football.
Hey,
look, yo, he the second coming of Tim Tebow. I know. Look. I'm sorry, man, but he the second coming of Tim Tebow right now. At least, excuse me. Tebow at least is worried, and he went down, he prayed and all that. He ain't talk about God that much on when he was in his interviews. This man is everything is God. He don't help me. He's got to help me see the defense and all. No, you just need to throw the ball better, buddy.
You gotta do something.
Yo,
I'm crying, bro, because that's like when he said that, like, so like one of the things, like as a certainly a believer, like I won't hide that fact, but like I can't expect for God to make me a better journalist and a better sports broadcaster. I gotta put in the work myself. You know what I'm saying? Like faith without works is dead. So like you can't be like, God's gonna deliver me from these big sixes. No, you gotta not throw it to the people. They give you a whole different color jersey. But then again, he did say he had to have eye surgery after he left the Bucs. So there's only so much I expect from him at that point. But
look, man, he had LASIK
I
surgery.
love it, man.
He had LASIK surgery. All right. I just want to know what happened between going from college to jumping into the pros, and then you turn around, you leave the Bucs, you finally get LASIK surgery. Wait, what?
Hey, he threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns with
so
34
he was
touchdowns.
so basically what you're saying, his whole career he was just throwing the ball up there. He was just throwing the ball.
Hey, bro.
He didn't even know who was getting it.
Finish that stat line for me real quick, Blogger. Finish that stat line for me real quick, man.
Oh, did you need to know the other part?
Yeah, I did need to know the other part.
The league leading 30 interceptions. So I was gonna say that might have been his greatest act of faith, was the fact that he didn't get LASIK surgery till after his 5,000 yard season. Like, that's saying a lot. Like, what was this? It was on Instagram. I shared it. They said that he said, man, I didn't know that what was the coach's name that won the Super Bowl for the Bucs. He said, I didn't know he was white for 2 years. And so then he commented under the post. He's like, is that why you introduced me like that?
Hey, this brother,
bro.
He said he got interviewed on NFL Network one time. He said, I didn't know my passion. He said, I thought my passion was football, but it turns out my passion is playing football. I was like, dog, I can't deal with you, bro. I can't do it. I can't do it, Jameis.
Hey, man, listen, I swear, like, Jameis is so funny just because when you look at go back and look at him, dude, with all his chest, bro. That's the part. With all his chest, he be so
serious too. When he literally believe in this too.
He ate a W.
Literally. And he been riding with that one too. He been riding with that one. So like I went back and I saw something. There was it was Gerald McCoy and Deshaun Jackson were talking about that on their podcast, right? And so they were talking about they described that particular and he had a couple different instances where like he was giving the pregame speech and it was just like, bro, what are we doing here? But like that particular week, he wasn't supposed to give the speech. I think it was Levante David that was supposed to give the speech. And he like would push Vontae out of the way. He's like, I got it, Tate. Like, not like before, like, so they had already figured this out and they already grouped up. And Vontae was about to go out there and kind of give a talk. And like Jameis walked out in the middle. I'm gonna share it again, dude. It's so funny that like, so you already knew like it was bad because he wasn't supposed to be the one giving the talk. And so then like Cade Otton was the Cade. I forgot which tight end it was. That was like, come on, bro, this is our quarterback. You got to support him. And Gerald McCoy was like, man, as soon as he started talking, I knew he was going to lose. And then he said the W thing, and it was over with, bro. And they went out and got smoked 35-10.
Man,
They'd make a 10-minute compilation of just funny James moments.
Oh my
God,
man!
You could. You.
It's a speech one time where they said, "Look at the man next to you," and James gets all in dude's face, looking at him.
Okay, so look, man, we went off the rails, bro. But I'm crying. So I got one more question about college football, and then we definitely got to talk a little bit of basketball before we roll. The Heisman race. Tell me your thoughts on the Heisman on Travis Hunter's Heisman victory.
Everyone keeps like arguing about this, and I just don't get.
I like where you're going.
Like, I took the coward's way out. I'm not gonna lie. I said they should have did no Heisman because we never seen something like Genty before either. Like, well, we have, but like not in a long.
It's been 40 years.
Like
40 years.
About to break Barry Sanders' record potentially in this very next game, and I feel like he deserves some recognition for that. But on the flip side, if I had a vote, it would have gone to Travis. Okay. I've never seen somebody do both sides. Like that's, I just never seen it. I've never seen it.
All right. So Ant, talk to me because I know you got.
I feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah, man, you are, man. So here's my look. So we got this thing, man. We got this thing called the Angry Hot Take, man.
Okay. Angry Puerto Ricans, Angry Hot Take, brought to you by Mr. Detail. Mr. Detail for all your car detailing needs. If you're tired of seeing dirt and grime on your vehicle, let Mr. Detail visit you today. He's a top-notch detail company that will leave your car sparkling like new. Whether it's a full exterior wash, interior vacuuming, or premium waxing, Mr. Detail's got you covered. They use top-of-the-line products. You can trust that your vehicle will receive the best care possible. So don't settle for a dirty car any longer. Call Mr. Detail today at 479-283-1636. Again, 479-283-1636. Call Mr. Detail and don't worry about nothing.
Oh, we're about to worry about something. About to worry about something.
My bad.
Ashton Genty. Robbed. He was robbed.
Angry Hot Detail, Mr. Detail.
They had the nerve to have Lil Wayne. And they gonna sit there and have him stand up, and he's gonna get on there and be like, I didn't know anything about Lil Wayne, man, until my wife put me on. What? You don't stop that?
Lil Wayne was at multiple Colorado games. Multiple.
Hold on real quick. So both of y'all were for Genty.
I was for I'm not mad that Travis won. Because again, like you said, when you talk about something you haven't seen before, right? And we can go through all the different there's been a lot of different two-way players, right? There was Chad Brown at LSU. There was Ashton, what was his last name? He was a quarterback for Auburn. There's Devin Hester. There's been lots of two-way players that have been on both sides of the ball as running back and linebacker. Mark Robinson was a running back and linebacker at Ole Miss. There's a lot of different players that have been, two-way players. None of them have done, like, you could take each of Travis Hunter's seasons offensively or defensively and say that he deserved both awards that he received. No, he did. Statistically, he wasn't the best at either position, but top of the line, guarding the best, covering the best receiver, top of the line, playmaker on one of the best offenses in the league, in the nation. This guy's done both things really well. I mean, you could make a case for him to be a Heisman winner just off his offense alone. But the fact that he did both is good. And we've never seen someone be dominant on both sides like we saw this year. Having said that, as a guy who, I was an offensive tackle, so, I didn't do much in the way of, running the ball. But even on what Genty's done, I couldn't do on a video game. Like, I didn't get the 2,500 yards and 29 touchdowns. in a video game. And so by that standard alone, I'm just like, dude, come on, man. Yes, I know, which makes me wonder what Barry did. And also, by the way, the most important thing here, I got to get the official number. I don't want to misquote, but I am pretty positive when I tell you that he did not go over 360 carries this season. But don't worry, because we're headed there now. I want to say it was 355. Was the number of carries that Ashton Junty had
344. Because I
344.
have a reason why I believe Ashton should have won. It was 344. It was 344. I'm looking at it right now. I've had this pulled up since before the show.
All right.
Because I knew somebody on this show was going to say that Travis Hunter was deserving, and here we go.
Oh, Lord.
Lo and behold, Justin brought the angriness out, man.
Reggie, you don't think he deserved it at all? You don't think he deserved it at all?
Trophy winning stats for that season.
Okay.
1,740 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, and 8.7 yards per carry. He had 37 catches for 478 yards and 2 touchdowns. All-purpose yards were 2,890, and his first place votes were 784 to 892. Now, we go over, and we go look at the marvelous season that this man had. 344 yards, 344 attempts for 2,497 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 7.3 average, right? I want you to understand that this man broke 200 yards rushing, okay? I want you to understand this. He broke 200 yards rushing not once, not twice, but more than 5 times this year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times. That he played 13 games. Half of those games he had 200 plus yards. And by the way, like, and that was the other reason why I was kind of like, man, what this dude's doing is not just amazing, but special, because we also should mention that out of those 13 games, 8 of them he didn't play the fourth quarter. Okay, 8. So imagine what he does if he plays 4 quarters in 8 more games. He's averaging, let's say he's averaging 75 yards a quarter, which sounds about right, because like at halftime he would be at like 8 carries, 111 yards. Like, that's crazy, dude. Like, this kid would stand in that crazy stance, and look, here's the other thing. Like his season long run was 77 yards against Georgia Southern.
But here's my thing. How many 70 plus yards rushing did he have in a game, though? He had multiple in one game. He had multiple 70 yards.
Bro, like what we've seen, and I really, really hope, because the last 2,000-yard rusher, was that Kevin Smith or was that Derrick Henry?
Derrick Henry.
I want to say Derrick Henry. Okay, so Derrick Henry. So, Kevin Smith.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. Sorry, I had it. Just thinking of Derrick Henry just made me think of that one girl, man. Sorry, man. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that college experience, man. Ever.
So look, man. Kevin Smith rushed for $2,000, and he got to the league, and I think he had a good goal. The problem was he was with a really bad Detroit team. And so I think that might have been it. But I just feel like what Junty did was otherworldly. Because, and I know this is a college award, but, Travis is going to go to the league and be really, really good. But I think I'm sure he will. I mean, like, he's a playmaker when it comes down to it. And so it's kind of hard to argue with. But, like, it's hard to see him not being good at either side, but I'm sure they're going to make him good on one side, and he probably won't be playing both sides. You feel like he might play both sides, Justin?
I don't think he can. I think that would be asking a lot at the next level. It's asking a lot now. I don't know. If he could do it at the next level, I would be shocked, to be honest.
I'm just gonna say miles that he's put on in college, going back and forth, and he's been doing it since high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about it. Think about how many snaps this man has played. That's almost equivalent to what LeBron has played in the NBA. If you're looking at it from longevity and going both sides, like I have to say, look, man, that's impressive, and I'm not knocking Travis Hunter for it, but I do feel that Ashton Genty was robbed. I really do.
I think robbed is a bit of a strong word.
That's a strong word.
He was burglarized. My fault.
I don't think that. I think that is also a strong word. I think even if you thought Ashton won, because I've had to defend Ashton for weeks now. I'm sure y'all have as well. But like when you turn on Travis and then you see him go for 7 catches and 115 and a tud or two, and then you see on the other side he might get a pick. That's hard to argue with as well. So it's like that's why I said I chickened out. I chickened out. I said co-Heisman, but
I wanted to co-Heisman.
It would have been nice if they actually would have gave them, both the award. I think they both deserving, but I don't know how you do it. You cut the Heisman Trophy in half.
No, they got enough money. They'll make another one.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it kind of remind me of that All-Star game. Yo, didn't Kobe Bryant win an All-Star MVP with somebody else?
I know Grant Hill and Jason Kidd took Rookie of the Year together. Peyton Manning and Steve McNair took MVP together. I think it's just something about the Heisman that it feels like it needs to be definitive. And again, that's why I'm not mad about it, because at the end of the day, this is justified. He really was. We may not ever see this again, right? Like you think about it, Charles Woodson offensively was really good, but he was known for and went into the Heisman as a defensive back, right? He didn't win a wide receiver award. I don't know how many times they threw him the ball. Same thing with Devin Hester. You're not gonna see this again, and it sucks because we'll probably see it. We may see a 2,500-yard rusher again. I can almost assure you that, and even
the dude needs 3 yards to break 2,500 is really insane to me, man.
Yeah,
it's just insane that in a year with 2 of the greatest individual seasons of all time, it sadly somebody
got to pick one.
And look,
you got to pick one.
Before we go to commercial break, to jump back into jump into the next segment. Look, and I'm not saying that, me, that's just me just saying it. But look, I don't think he got robbed. I honestly, I just think that there should have been some other type of like his number should have been up there. I feel like, as you said, Blocker, it should have been co-Heisman because they were both deserving of the award this year. They were there. There was nothing your argument stands and our argument on Ashton stands. I'm just saying, you're never going to see these
now. I get it now. So this is it. So of course, the Heisman is voted for by Heisman finalists, and I think there's the Heisman winners plus the particular journalist, right? And that's what makes the Heisman vote. But I think what I realize is that from that standpoint, the reason why they got such a heavy vote for Trav is because we won't see what Trav's done happen again for ever, right? But thinking about it from the standpoint of what right, so it all just hit me. So the reason why they took Trav as the Heisman is because his name's not gonna if you don't give Travis Hunter the Heisman, his name won't go down in the record book other than Otis, or 40 years from now, kids will look at this and say, who was the Thorpe? They won't look and say who was the Thorpe Award winner. They won't look and say who was the Biletnikoff winner. We don't know. A lot of people don't even know who Otis Thorpe and Biletnikoff are, right? But we know about the Heisman. So they gave Trav the Heisman because Johnson's going to break Barry's record, and his name's already going to be in the record books forever anyways. So his name's going to be remembered. So they gave that to Trav as a. I honestly feel like they voted for Trav because yes, this is something we've never seen before. Yes, this is the level of dominance that probably won't be attained again. But if you go back and look at this, when we look at this from a broader scope, 40 years from now, we won't see Trav's name in now this gives us a way to preserve, because like you said, it's two of the greatest individual college seasons in history. And so the way that they're going to memorialize both is you got to give Trav the Heisman, because there's the kid from, where's he from, like Montana or somewhere, that he led the nation in yards, touchdowns, and that he had a great run too.
But that's when I get angry. Like at some point, tape has to matter. At some point,
yeah.
I get it. You can say Ashton did it against Oregon. So like there's actually a film of you doing that. Brother played nobody. He played me. He played us three and my little sister.
That's hard.
Yeah. I'm which is like, yes, I get it, but no, this ain't that. That's where shout out to my homegirl on TikTok, Nick. That's as she says, this ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Like what Trav did, he did it on prime time. By the way, right? Like, and the other thing is, the thing you got to remember about again from this context, Travis in Colorado, even though they weren't even that good, last year I shouldn't say they weren't that good. They finished with 4 wins last year, and they weren't statistically, win-loss record, they weren't great. You knew that they were a dangerous team with a lot of really big options. They upgraded their line, they made themselves better. They got into a conference where they had a chance, and they fumbled the bag against Kansas State. But these guys were playing some real ball. So
they also made the playoffs.
They definitely would have been in the playoffs, man. And I really, really hate that Kansas State loss. That Kansas State loss sucked, but it's a learning opportunity, man. So look, man, before we go to break, I gotta tell you guys about our favorite gym in Houston, V-Fit Gym. Look, if you're trying to get in shape, if you're looking, why wait? I know the end of the year is here, right? There's a lot of, as she's getting ready, I know.
Look, there's going to be a lot of resolutions come January 1st, December 31st, going to January 1st, talking about, I'm going to eat healthy.
Yeah.
Nah. She's on this girl all about it, though.
I profess not to make resolutions, but I always do, right? I set goals and I try to accomplish them. I hit a few. This podcast is definitely on that board. But look, if you're ready to enhance your fitness journey, there's no reason to wait till the end of the year and start. You can start right now. My girl Valencia in Houston will help you. At VFit Gym, they believe in fitness. That it's essential for a happy life, and she's very right. So as a member, you'll get 24-hour access. You can work out whatever you want. It's located in the Galleria area, a very nice part of Houston. They offer free weights, machines, a large turf area, and cardio equipment. They also have personal trainers that will provide one-on-one sessions and small group classes to fit your fitness needs. With affordable membership, it's easy to make fitness part of your lifestyle. So don't wait. Don't start your resolutions right now by visiting VFit Gym in Houston and turn your fitness goals into a reality. So you can check us out at vfitgymhouston.com, or you can just swing by 5539 Richmond Avenue to get started today. VFit your way to a healthier life today. We'll be right back on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. Very excited, as we finish with with Freezy Sports on. Justin Frazier is here with us, and can't say thank you enough to have him. After the break, we're going to talk a little bit of NBA and particularly the NBA Cup. Stay with us here on the Fanatic Sports Podcast. Welcome back to the Fanatic Sports Podcast, episode 16. This we have a costume change for basketball season. So as we get into this basketball season, and so like one of the things that's my favorite thing about this time of the year is we get so many good sports, right? College basketball, especially I don't know if you're a proponent of this as much as we are, Justin. We're big women's sports fans. We definitely believe in Title IX. We definitely I'm elated with what I'm seeing from the WNBA. I'll be honest and admit that I didn't. Now I followed the Aces in the WNBA, but I don't say fan right away because for a long time, like I saw them, their rise to a championship. I was very excited when they signed Becky Hammond, when they drafted Asia Wilson, just different things like that. But I was hesitant to call myself a fan because I just didn't follow WNBA. I love this story with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in this draft class, and it's made me understand that there's more in store, with the draft class that's coming up next year or for 25. So we're big Title IX fans. We love women's basketball now, especially, and so because I like WNBA, I like what's happening in the women's college basketball. I love men's college basketball. I've followed that for years. I'm a Razorback fan there as well. In college, it's all Arkansas. The lacrosse team, the baseball team, the hockey team, you name it, right? It's all Arkansas. But the NBA is definitely, basketball is my first love. I wanted with all my heart to be a point guard because I love to pass the ball and cross people over, but I was too slow to cross over. I was a good passer and a halfway good rebounder. But 6'5" was too short to play the post, and I wasn't quick enough to play guard, so I went and played left guard. But the NBA, man, this is cool what they're doing to make the league more interesting, and this time of year we're getting that, right? It's the end of the year with the pros. We're coming down, as Coach Tomlin says, the roads get narrow in the pros in football, and the college football is practically over.
For every nickel. For every time you mention Mike Tomlin, like literally like a catchphrase or something he says, man, you need to go ahead and just throw $10 swear jar, man. Because I swear we just said we ain't supposed to be talking about the Steelers, and you still find some way to bring up Mike Tomlin, man.
Listen, man, this guy was a genius. This guy is a genius. You gotta.
I get he's not had a losing season in his, he hasn't had a losing season since he took over. But I'm just saying, man, like enough already.
It's impressive. All right, so
you see what I gotta deal with? Justin, you see what I gotta deal with off air in my messengers and our little group chat we got. Like it's just constant Steelers, Pittsburgh. Look, man, for one day, man, that's my Christmas wish. I don't want to hear nothing about the Steelers.
You can't get that because they play that day.
Bingo.
I boycott. Hey, look, man. Yo, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Netflix better get it right because
my gosh,
if they do what they did during that Tyson fight, and they try to go live on a sporting event, and that thing is just buffering. Look, people gonna be pissed off. They're gonna be upset.
I told my family already, y'all are in for a rude awakening if you think I'm hanging out with y'all that day. That's crazy. I'm going to be watching football for those 2 games that they got.
Yes,
I'm not. Yo, look. Everything is against the Chiefs, so I don't really care, man. I'm actually going to root for. I'm gonna root for the other team.
So let me
root for the other team, but I'm not saying their name though, man.
So got 2 sides of dark magic going against each other. You got the Steelers dark magic, who they could have the most bottom tier roster in the world and still win 10 games. And Chiefs dark magic, where they pull out the craziest one possession win you could find. Crazy stuff that day.
Hey, man, look,
there's gonna be something happen. Look, there's definitely gonna be something that happen at the end of that game, man.
Absolutely, it's guaranteed.
Yo, we talk about basketball. Look, man, I'm not happy. I'm definitely not happy that the Knicks didn't make it where they needed to. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's the NBA Cup. I mean, I'm not really as I said last week on the show for about 5 minutes. The Lakers NBA Cup. That's the only closest championship they're gonna get. As my buddy over here, my brother Imro just said, that's the Intercontinental Championship belt. That's the equivalent of what it is.
I like it.
That's real.
And we not really gonna consider that because I mean, it's just not gonna work, man. And those are things that I'm just looking at. But I'm not. I like what it's done. I mean, we gonna see what what the Bucks do after this cup. Because beforehand they were losers of a lot of games, and for them to get where they are, that shows leaps and bounds. I don't really put that on on Doc Rivers. I really don't. I really think he's just you've had him with the Clippers. He just can't get the job done.
I'm gonna tell you something. But I was excited when he came to us. I don't like Doc Rivers. I will forever hold it in his. The blood is on his hand that we didn't win a ring in 2020. We should have had that Mickey Mouse bubble ring. That should have been ours. And that the blood is on his hand, and I will not relinquish that.
I gotta go on a rant real quick. He's no longer Doc. His name is Glenn Anton Rivers until further notice. That is Glenn Anton Rivers. Because let's just take a look at the history of Glenn Anton. You get the sell. First of all, he started in Orlando, did a nice little job rebuilding them. You go to Boston, almost got fired, by the way, but then they pulled off the magic trick and got Ray Allen and KG. You win a ring. Don't win another one after that, by the way.
Anything's possible.
He went 1-3 in those finals.
And let's not forget that same season they won. Almost got knocked out in the first round by a rookie D Rose. They took him 7 games. So then you lose. You go to LA. This is before the 3-ball is even prevalent for real, before Steph Curry even takes over. So you got this Lob City team that can still take over. And you didn't even make the conference finals with that group. You blew a 3-1 lead to the Rockets in a game in which they benched James Harden, and you let Josh Smith cook you. Then you leave again, go to Philly with Embiid. Don't make a conference finals again. Crush Ben Simmons' confidence, which that's a whole nother story. And then you get a job in Milwaukee, and that has done nothing. This is about the most successful he's ever. This is the most successful he's been in Milwaukee is this current stretch they're on right now, which is great.
Listen, I can't wait till Opus clips this particular rant, and if they don't clip it, I'm gonna clip it, and I'm putting all the videos. I can't wait.
I don't see how he keeps getting.
Rivers ain't adopted no more.
I don't see how he keeps getting, and I'm not here to call for people's jobs. I don't see how he keeps getting job after job after job with very little playoff success.
Look, I don't know how he keeps getting the job. To this day, I don't understand it. It made me realize something, though. I can't believe Jeff Van Gundy's an assistant coach. Why?
What are we doing?
Like, let's just be real here. Jeff Van Gundy is an assistant coach. You got Stan Van Gundy, over on the sidelines commentating games, and you see what he did with the Orlando Magic. Then he goes where'd he go? Didn't he go to Phoenix or something like that after?
Yeah, sure
and you're sitting there like, okay, cool, it's great. Jeff Van Gundy loses his buddy Mark Jackson because they wanted to make cuts and all of that. And I'm just like, all right, cool, I get it. Doc Rivers should have just stayed on the sidelines of ESPN.
Yep.
That's been his most effective job in the entire time.
And that's saying a lot because you got to be a sick person to want to listen to that voice for 3 hours.
Look, and the reason why they won with the Celtics, I'm gonna just be honest. I know they had the big 3, but if you take Rondo out of the equation, if the team does not vote to get Rondo some minutes. That at 19 years old, we would not be sitting here saying the original big three, whatever. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't be saying they won a championship. We wouldn't be here saying the Boston Celtics have an extra banner on to put up in the rafters. So we could sit there and we could commend, but I give it to those 4 players because at the end of the day, without those 4 players, Doc Rivers would still be irrelevant. He'd just be part of the bad boys team for the Pistons.
That's my point. That one championship has given his brother 15 extra years of a career that were, in my personal.
You know how a cat got 9 lives? You know how a cat got 9 lives? This man got 15 lives.
Yes.
So I'm here for the Doc Rivers slander. I'm sorry, the Glenn Rivers slander. And by the way, he also kept his son in the league and definitely.
Thank you. His brother paid his son a top tier deal, and then
everybody's
come
mad
off
at
the
LeBron.
bench.
Everybody's mad at LeBron, but nobody said anything about Glenn and what he did with his son. Fine, whatever.
To come off the bench, knowing his son was mid. Come on,
actually,
man.
so Ed brought up a good point as to why, what this means for the Bucks, and because they were on that bad tear before this, and I figured out why they're in the NBA Cup Finals. It's because of Darvin Ham. If you're not familiar, Darvin Ham is undefeated in the NBA Cup.
His name should be Darvin Lamb.
So to that point, if we're thinking about, if we're making our predictions, I'm gonna ask y'all's later, but I'm going with the Bucks to win the NBA Cup because I believe that Darvin Ham will remain undefeated and win his second NBA Cup championship.
Are you a fan?
I think during that commercial break, I think he took a couple shots. He was hitting Grandpa's old cough medicine back in the back on the break because I don't know where he getting this. And he talking about the Bucks. Man, I'm sorry, but that OKC team is just immaculate, man. With no Chet Holmgren. What's wrong with you? Are you watching the same games I'm watching? Like, I know you be watching the Clippers for no apparent reason because they ain't getting no viewership.
I just watched them dismantle Luka and the Mavs.
Why would you even admit to that?
That's crazy. Wait, Blocker, who is your team?
I'm the Clippers fan that he's referring to. Yeah.
That's a disgusting life choice. I respect you for that. That's a nasty life choice right there. Like, how do you even come to that?
Dog, please don't get him started. Oh God.
I understand how you become a Knicks fan, even though that is also a sad life choice.
I'm from New York though.
But that's what I can see a path.
Would you rather me be a New Jersey Nets fan and go to the swamp? That's like being a fucking put another jar. Put another money in a swear jar. That's like being a fucking Giant and Jet fan. No.
The Nets haven't been as bad as the Knicks have been this century, though. At times, like at least you got the Jason Kidd years where they made the finals.
They had the big three. They had Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, and did nothing.
That's more fun than anything the Knicks have had in a long time.
Wow.
Blue, come here, Blue, please. That's.
But y'all are good now. Like y'all are good. It's fun to
watch. Good now.
Cat ain't never played this well. God, dog, Cat is hooping.
Look, man, he's the big bodega.
Yeah,
big bodega.
I saw somebody call him the Big Purr, and I got off social media for the day. Nah,
Big Purr is gross.
That's a gross man. You call him Big Purr.
We're not gonna call him
Who's your
Big
team?
Purr.
Are you over here talking about our team? Who your team? And you better not say the Lakers.
No, never that. Never that.
Oh, okay, all right.
I am a Phoenix Suns fan. That's
okay. Yeah. All right.
Oh, a disgusting life choice. I admit.
Hey, look. If y'all had some great years. Y'all had some great years. When you got the big Aristotle, the big cactus, the big desert.
That was not a good year.
That's why I'm saying that was the only thing good about that year.
Well, wait,
they thought Shaq was going to bring him to the glory days. That was that big fat stomach of his.
38 years old with the
he was over 300 pounds at 38.
I don't like to talk about.
They already knew he was going to be a TNT Insider NBA reporter or commentator or analyst, whatever you want to call him, the big analyst.
Man, it helps though, because out of all, it's never worked out for me to have my favorite player on my favorite team, and Kevin Durant is on the Suns now, so I've been happy. Granted, we can't stay healthy no more. So, and Bradley Beal, he's from St. Louis, so it's always love. But God, dog, put that brother in some bubble wrap, some holy water on that brother, please. No, they just had 5 days off. They had a game Friday. They woke up and said his knee swole up. How did you have 5 days off and your knee swole up the morning of the game? The morning of the game. Come on.
What made it swell?
Come on, man.
The fact that he was going to be playing.
Yeah, well. Oh, that's so good. So, all right, look. So give me your predictions. Thunder versus Bucks in the finals. And I said I'm taking the Bucks. You tell me what you got.
I got OKC. I just think their perimeter defense is too much for like someone like Dame. And then Giannis can win a game on his own, and they don't. And OKC has no size. They have nothing for that, especially not without Chet. So I'm gonna roll with OKC still, just because I like their group. I like their bench better. I like their coach better, and I think Shea. People don't talk about it enough. It's the quietest 30, but you never stopping Shea from getting 30. He gets it all.
It's 30. It's happening.
30 every time.
Oh, look! All he got to do is score 7-8 points in a quarter, and he got 30 points.
Yeah, that's true. But then you make it. You simplified it. But then
look! That it kind of reminded me of this. What I watched. I watched this podcast, and they were talking about dude. He got advice from a player. A vet, he told him, look, man, you want to average 20, 25 points a game, yo, man, just get yourself 6-7 points a game, in a quarter, man. You'll get that average.
That's all you need. That's all you need. You get 7 points a quarter times.
I'm taking the Thunder. I'm taking the Thunder. Just because what happened on Friday against the Hawks, and I'm not gonna the villain. The villain of the NBA, well, one of the villains of the NBA, or in Madison Square Garden, decided to roll the in the middle of our court.
That was hard. That was hard.
And you sitting there and you saying that, but everybody else, man, I shout out to Isaiah Hartenstein. He said if I was there, that would have never happened. I would have checked him. I got so much respect for the bright. Hey, they call him bright skin. Bright skin. He's white and black, but he got more white than black in him, but he called himself bright skin.
I love that Trey has embraced this kind of villain role. And actually I was just about to load up their video.
Please don't.
Please do.
Done.
This is disgusting.
But like and at the end of the day, as we just saw, man, that's what I think it's gonna be. Is I think Giannis is gonna score 50 and do it all against his team, and it's all.
Giannis ain't scoring no 50. Look, so who's gonna look? I'm not even saying that anybody can stop him. Right. Look, you can just hope to contain the man. Okay, you can't stop Giannis. Listen, that's any team in the NBA. You just can't stop Giannis. But I do want to ask y'all something. Okay. If Dame scores 28 or averaging 28 in this, and you got Giannis averaging 30, 34 points a game, what is that? What, 62, 70, almost close to 70 points a game we're looking at right there anywhere?
Yeah.
Where they gonna get the rest of the other 50 to match up to the Oklahoma City Thunder's game?
But that's the thing, though. That's why I picked OKC to begin with, because I don't think Dame is gonna have a good game. I
don't either. You know what I mean?
And Dort.
Look, Chris Middleton, he's another player that stole a bunch of money, got a max deal for no reason.
No, just robbery.
Now, hey, am I allowed to use the word robbery?
You can use.
No,
you can
here,
use
yes.
for sure.
Right here.
On this topic, okay, fine. Look, he flat out burglarized the whole Milwaukee Bucks team by saying, I'm a max player and this is what I want. If not, I'm leaving. What? You're not Giannis. No, stop it. That man has barely played any games because he's so fragile.
So he is listed as day-to-day, Chris Middleton, as is Dame. Dame is listed as day-to-day with an undisclosed illness as well. So neither of them practice today, but I expect that they'll be ready to for the game.
Look,
and if so, I think it's going to be 50 points from Giannis, who's averaging 32, by the way, which is crazy.
61%.
It's absurd. Just literally absurd. I think that the Darvin Ham Magic is going to run.
Stop with this Darvin Ham crap. God, Lee, what are you? Yo, man, what's wrong with you today?
Look, 32, 14, and 9. That's what Giannis did to get to this final against Atlanta.
Look, I'm gonna put out two numbers for you, and I'm gonna just leave it at that: 14 and 11.
Okay.
14 and 11. I don't want to hear nothing, man. I don't want to hear. They 5 and 6. Look, they 5 and 6 in away games.
I'm not picking.
Actually, in away games they 4 and 7. They can't play without playing at home. And guess what? This game is playing, and where they playing this game at?
Vegas, I believe, right?
Exactly. So it's not a home game; it's still an away game.
If anybody can rise to the occasion, it would definitely be Giannis, and it honestly would definitely be Dame. Dame,
yeah,
as clutch as they get.
This guy is special when it counts. I mean, he scored 50 in Game 6 of the finals. I hate to bring up this bad news, but y'all should have been there anyway. Y'all should have been there anyways, because Paul George should have hit that free throw and Kawhi should have played. Anyways. Look, I'm not even mad about the missed free throw. The only thing I'm mad about is that, so remember Game 2 when they threw the lob to DeAndre Ayton? Like in NBA 2K, I know that if I'm guarding the 4 or the 5 or the inbounder, I got my hands up and I'm waiting to stop that. Like, there's no way. Who didn't mention? Come on, Ty Lue. Whatever. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
Are we talking about another blunder by the Clippers? Yeah, we can do that all day. I love it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
We can do that
before we talk about how bad the Clippers suck for 2 hours.
Before we go further, I need to mention that it has been said that Kawhi will be ready after the NBA Cup tournament to join.
Awesome. Great.
I don't know. I don't even know whether I should be happy for the NBA. Well, he gonna play one game?
Hey, he'll probably get 7 or 8 games before he thinks
he can't play.
He's going. No, this is what's gonna happen. He's going to play inconsistently for like 4 or 5 months. What is it? It's December. Okay,
it's December.
3-4 months.
I was gonna say, don't give him 5. 5's a little too much. I don't want to get my hopes up.
It's gonna get to early April, right before the playoffs, and he's gonna he's gonna start going stupid. I was on 30-point games, 40-point game. He's gonna get everybody hopes of like Kawhi. He's back. He's back. As soon as the playoffs start,
he's gonna sneeze too hard and his back's gonna hurt.
Random knee injury. You would have just seen him drop 30 the last game. You think like, all right, bet next game we're gonna get that one too. The day the game comes, Kawhi is out for the playoffs.
Hey man.
What happened with the USA basketball team? All of a sudden he touches the basketball and then he gets shipped back. He ships back to the United States for Derek White. Stop it.
Here's the best part. He relinquished himself from that team, and I know he was like, wait, I just could have sat there and not played because like Tyrese Halliburton didn't do nothing. Nothing.
Jason Tatum.
Nothing. The MVP.
So I was telling Imro I was telling him that there's this big thing going around where they were saying how many claps he had, the most claps in a USA uniform. He gave out the most Gatorade cups to all the other players, so they should give out an award for that. For I'm just looking at that. Like I'm looking at Kawhi Leonard's stats, right? And the most games he's played in was in the 2015, 2016, and the 16-17 year. He played 72 and 74 games. That's the most. That was 8 years ago.
Oh my God! Can he not just have a break and be tired like LeBron?
No.
You know what LeBron
look, you can't even put Kawhi and LeBron in the same category. Don't even do that to yourself. And I'm not a LeBron fan.
Because the thing is, people forget, Kawhi basically sat out his whole late 20s and early 30s for load management. Why were you doing load management at 28?
At 28 years old?
What were you doing?
Hey, man, 5 years ago, I told everybody that the Clippers were going to win a championship because we got Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I would like to say publicly that I might have been wrong about that.
Hey,
I'd like to say publicly right now, the Knicks, again, remember our bet.
Hey, we're going to win 45 games. We good for 45, baby.
The bet is they won't win 45 games. They won't even win 40 games.
Was it 40 or 45? I think it was
40. You have to go back, but I think it literally was 40. I think it was 40, 45. Well, y'all at 14 and 12.
Hey, we're on the way.
Oh, you're going to lose. Hey, y'all done lost 3 straight. So I mean, you're 5-5 in the last 10 games. So, I mean, look, I just want to say, man, there's only so much you can get out of the beer.
Hey, man, I know I ain't even trying to do it like this. Harden just cost me my parlay, and I was heartbroken. All right, I was crushed. So I'm kind of mad at him right now.
Oh,
but
God.
I gotta go back.
All I say is it's been a good basketball year, but the one problem I do see, I was reading a lot, man. I was reading about this. The viewership has gone down the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And here's my thing. Here's my thing, and I can tell you why. There's no everybody's yo, what's up? This is the third, blah blah blah. There's no hatred. There's no rivalries anymore, man. I don't feel like there's any of that.
You need anger. You need anger for good sports.
They need me. They need my salsa.
They did.
Hey, I'm willing to salsa.
Hey, I
think you. It's a short flight to St. Louis. We'll get you right.
Look, it just bugs me out. Like the viewership has gone down because you remember back in the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, man, dudes were getting hit. They were getting up, ready to fight, blah blah blah. Nowadays, oh man, I just hung out like Draymond Green hanging out with LeBron James. LeBron over at his wedding, and I'm just like, yo, there's too much of this and not enough competitive fight.
Too much happiness. We need less happiness.
I just saw a graphic on Twitter that like showed the viewer ratings each year since like 2000, and it was like peak in 2010-11, and I'm sure you guys remember that's when Bron signed in Miami. So of course, so you got Miami.
Everybody was hating on Miami, so right? Yeah.
And then you had like a Miami, even Chicago. You had D Rose or Dwight Howard in Orlando.
He rose up like he was going to be the savior to this thing.
That's my all-time favorite player. I cry every time. But even if you look at the years when it was Cleveland and Golden State, the viewership was at least close to the LeBron years. The Miami.
I mean, because again, it went and so that was an interesting time for 15 to 20 because you went from rooting for the Warriors because because everybody hated LeBron and Cleveland to rooting for Cleveland because you got so tired of seeing the Warriors be dominant. And then they went and got KD, and it was really like, dang, man, this is too good a team. And so now we're rooting for the Cavs. I just remember that that was such a great time. That energy in 2016 when everybody gave their dark skin power to LeBron. We just wanted
Kyrie. Oh my God,
that was
look. Oh,
the way I see it is there's no defense played.
That's what breeds.
If we could get some defense being played, you know, and you know, we actually get that. Like, you know, we might see a change in viewership where you could take the whatchamacallit, you know what I mean? Where you could take what they do for these games. Like, let's say the All-Star game, right? They're about to have a 4-man, you know, 4-14. They're about to go to that.
Okay.
You take that, give that to the person, you know, to the team that, you know, or to the conference that, you know, has won. You give them, you know, some extra incentive or something like that.
So, like, that's how baseball determines who's going to be the home team in the World Series, is by who wins
and, you know, I was listening to Paul George and KG, and I think I've been saying this for a while. It's just that, you know, they have a better platform than we do at the moment. But I did say this a long time ago. For now. But I did say this a while ago. They need to go with the best 16 teams in the league.
I agree. Now there'd be 12 teams out of the West, but yeah, I'm all for that.
Also then another thing, and you know, people was hating on it at the time. I think in all sports, I think super teams help. I just looking back, like even baseball this year with the Dodgers, I think that's more people.
Hey, whoa.
I'm not saying I'm a Dodgers fan.
Whoa. There's no Dodger talk here, sir.
He's a little
I'm still salty about this, all right?
Can I flip it? Even the Yankees, though, because I was rooting for the Yankees.
I'm not a Yankee fan.
Yeah, he's a Mets fan.
Oh, man, what you salty about? You just got Soto, man.
Look, man, these contracts are getting ridiculous, man.
They are. That's their money. Y'all good, man. Let's run it back. Dodgers, Mets, NLCS with Soto on your team this time, running back. But I'm just saying, like, super teams help. Like, you have one now. You got
one, yeah.
The Dodgers have one.
Yeah.
The Heat, the
super teams. They make your team, they make your league better because you've got somebody that you want to root for or root against, right? There's more sales, there's more viewership. Right now, we're in kind of a flaky spot because we don't have that complete super team,
but
right?
People also asked for this because people wanted to get back to the days of
parity.
Yeah, thank you. That's the word, parity. And now every team has pretty much for the most part has a star, even a second star. But there's no super team. Like if you want to say maybe Boston, sure.
That's the closest you can get.
Think Boston has a. I don't even consider Boston has, and I don't see it. I feel like the days of the whole three star showing up, it's probably gonna come. It's probably gonna happen again. Jimmy Butler's gonna either get traded to Dallas. He's going to either get traded to Dallas or the Warriors. I think those are the two best landing spots right there. Yeah. He's already said he likes it, but the Heat already still are in talks. And you know how Dallas, they definitely need another wing player. They need a defender.
And they need a defender because they ain't got no defender on the perimeter.
But I also don't think the three-star
thing. 48 threes.
I don't think the three.
Like that's what the game is turned to. Look, man, I play NBA 2K. Look, man, I like the three. I live by the three and die by the three. Trust me. Ask him, bro. He'll tell you. I do it all the time. I live by the three and die by the three.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die a lot more than you're gonna live. Go ahead, Justin.
The big three thing might not work because back then, remember, people were sacrificing their benches.
Yep.
They were sacrificing centers.
Didn't you just do that?
Miami had.
I was talking about Phoenix just did that. They had no bench.
No, they. Yeah, right. This year there's a better bench than last year for the Suns. But at the same time,
what hurt you guys last year?
But exactly. So I'm saying, like, and as a KD fan, I want him to get off that bandwagon more than any. Because if you can go back to his Nets run when it was just him and Kyrie, I thought that was enough. And they still had that Nets team from the year before that everybody loved. That was
solid,
and that team with Spencer Dinwiddie, and they had Joe Harris and Nick Claxton. And you trade a lot of these pieces to go get James Harden, who doesn't need to stay.
You definitely like that, but you're absolutely right. It guts the team, and a lot of times you lose that depth, or you know, Miami had a bunch of players that were like, bet we just want to come win the ring. And, you know, they took vet minimums. And I mean, even still, there was still a bit of a transition period where it looked like it was going to be, real bad for them. You know, that first run in 2011 when they lost to the Mavs. So again, you know, there's a lot of, you know, that concession that needs to be made. And I don't know with the way the league is going now, I don't know that we're gonna get that kind of concession again. You're gonna get to where you want to gut your team that way, and you know you may not need it, but like you said, the super team is almost necessary, because if I asked you right now, right, you know, if I said, okay, not just the NBA Cup, who's gonna win the NBA Finals right now?
The Knicks.
I guarantee you, we're gonna get 3 different teams.
The Knicks.
And his should not be one of them.
Yeah,
Mine either. Mine either.
Well, the Clippers still got a chance, so
The who?
never mind. Don't worry about it.
You have the worst chance. You have the worst chance.
We're not gonna make it. That's not important.
Look, when Norman Powell is leading your team in scoring, we got problems.
Hey, we could make it if we can stay healthy. The Knicks can make it if they beat Boston. Like that's
Look, the Knicks can make it if Tom Thibodeau starts using his bench a little bit more and stop trying to run these guys down to the ground.
You remember, I just did a Glenn Anton rant. I got a quick one for him too.
Thank you. Hello, here we go.
It's nowhere on God's green earth, because this is personal. You had D Rose in that game, up 16 with a minute left, for my boy to tear his ACL, and you learned nothing. Look at y'all playing last year. By the time you got to Game 7 against Indiana, 8 of the players was fighting for their life.
Literally fighting for their life.
Josh Hart was playing with an abdominal strain, trying his hardest. He's working these dudes to the bone. If I was Dante DiVincenzo, I would have asked for a trade too.
Yeah,
naturally. He didn't want to get traded though. That's the thing. He really
wanted to play with his buddies.
And sacrifice, you know what I mean? What, you know, we talking about, you know, giving up players, but that sacrifices more players on our bench, man, because look, I'm not sold on Campaign.
Oh, no, not at all.
He's a streaky shooter.
Yeah.
And his shot is just so weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Very
weird. Shot is weird. Look, we like, you know, Imro says this all the time, man. He needs to start using like Dadier. He's a big believer in Dadier. Imro's a big believer in Dadier.
Okay.
And he's right. Kolick. We don't use none of these guys that we have, man. We just playing 8, 9-man rotation. Sometimes we're playing 8, 7.
Yeah.
You know, Preston Achua is technically not a center.
Right.
Yeah, why is Preston at the 5? I don't get that. I don't understand it. All right, whatever. I'm not going.
Because it's that small ball mentality. Because I honestly blame Mike D'Antoni. I love Mike D'Antoni in the 7 seconds or less in that small ball lineup. Love that.
I hated that. Gosh, I hated that. I'm so glad we're through with that.
That was so much fun.
That was fun.
That was so much fun.
7 seconds or less, man. Score the ball. Shoot the go down. No, don't set your offense up. Set a pick. Boom. Steve Nash throw alley-oop. Boom. Amari Stoudemire catches the ball. Oh, you know what? Kick out the Leandre Barbosa. 3. Come on, man. Like, let's get real here, man. Let's just get real here. Sean Marion, top of the key with unorthodox shot.
Oh my God, that shot was so crazy.
But I'm just saying, look, man. You know, NBA, they need to get it done right. This NBA Cup is a start.
I love it.
Again, it's like to me, those it's a start, but that's also like giving a 6-6, college football team a bowl game, you know. So that's my mentality and my thought on that. We giving consolidation, prizes for being mediocre is something I don't appreciate, and I'm not happy with. Just looking at the NBA Cup, you see these guys, like, you could have a crappy record, but you'd be great in the NBA Cup, but you win in that consolidation prize. What'd you do your second year? Oh, I didn't make the playoffs, but I also got the NBA Cup.
Look, listen, I can live with it. It's something that makes you, that's keeping people pushing through the middle of the season. It's drawing eyes. I'm fine with it. because of what it does during the middle of the season, and it gives if this is what it's going to take to get players to not load manage early in the season, to make them want to do more, and then you get to the All-Star game, and then after the All-Star game, everybody's on that playoff push anyway. So like this is a great middle of the season kind of in-season tournament that's going to keep some players wanting to push towards that 70 game mark and that sort of thing. I can live with it. I'm fine with it. But look, man.
Before we go, shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. 22-4 is a crazy. No one thought 22-4.
That is fantastic. I can't wait to see how this.
And they beat the Celtics.
How the rest of their season unfolds. So, but before we go, again, Freezy Sports own Justin Frazier here with us, man. I can't say thank you enough. I'm gonna definitely continue to keep looking into all your content and your work, man. Tell us anything you want to know before we go.
Man, like I said, first follow me, Freezy Sports, Instagram, Sports Freezy, Twitter, Freezy Sports, TikTok. And I just want to let y'all guys know I appreciate y'all for the opportunity. I appreciate y'all bringing me on. Hopefully it's not a one and done type deal. I'll be back.
Absolutely, man.
Man.
Championship, man. I want you definitely to come back for that episode.
I'll be back. Like I said, just thankful. Y'all super cool, man. And I appreciate y'all.
Man, well, it was definitely a blast. And you definitely on the roster, man. So we're gonna look forward to working with you soon and very soon, man. So as we wrap up today, man, first and foremost, don't forget that Darvin Ham is undefeated in the NBA Cup.
Wait, we need a Mike Tomlin exit.
And as Mike Tomlin would always say, there's a very fine line between smashing grapes and making wine. But as I always say, bro, tough times don't last. Tough people do, man. We appreciate everybody joining us on the Fanatic Sports Podcast, man. Thank y'all for hanging with me.